Hello there. Every moment of the day, events break from the nation's federal capital city, Abuja, by the critical players of the different sectors of our economic and socio-political landscape. What we do on this program, therefore, is to relieve these issues and happenings to your living room on a weekly basis. This is Abuja Dispatch, and my name is Adegboyega Arogodo. Let's start off with those stories that made up our news headlines in the last 7 days.
The federal government has approved the sum of 13.3 billion naira for the takeoff of the community policing initiative across the country as part of efforts aimed at enhancing security nationwide. President Muhammadu Buhari hinted this at the midterm ministerial performance review retreat to review the status of progress towards the delivery of the 9 priority areas set up by the present government. The retreat is designed to review the performance of each minister in delivering the ministerial mandates, including programs and projects assigned to them upon their appointment in 2019, identify key impediments to implementation, and re-strategize on how to accelerate delivery of results given the current economic situation. The Senate may have tacitly backed the Independent National Electoral Commission on its decision to transmit results electronically as the upper lawmakers reconsidered some clauses of the Electoral Act as amended. By this, INEC is empowered to determine the best way to transfer election results. The upper chamber also ruled that political parties seeking to nominate candidates for elections shall hold direct primaries for aspirants to all elective positions, which will be monitored by INEC. These were some of the resolutions reached on the floor after a heated debate on a motion by Leader of the Senate, Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, during last Tuesday's plenary. The current engagement of the different theaters of operations in the country will not be folded up until security of lives and property is assured in the entire space. The military is therefore determined to scale up the security activities not only in the northeast but across the country's geopolitical zones. Chief of Defense Staff General Laki Irabo gave this assurance while briefing on the recent activities of the Nigerian military on a forum organized by the presidential media team, while calling on all aggrieved groups and non-state actors to embrace other peaceful options to push out their agitations. The CDS said the shutdown of telecommunication networks in some parts of the northwest is in support of military engagement in the region, as over 4,150 bandits have been neutralized in the past days that the network was shut down.
The votes and proceedings of
the Nigerian Senate has suspended plenary for 1 month to enable its Committee on Appropriation work on the general principles of the 2022 budget of 16.39 trillion naira. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, noted that the plenary will resume on November 9th, and the 4-week period will allow ministries, departments, and agencies to defend their budget performance and projections before the Appropriation Committee headed by Senator Jibrin Barau. While most of the lawmakers in their contributions supported the projections of the budget, especially having to borrow to fund it, others commended the executive for its plan on economic growth and sustainability. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives have criticized the proposed $57 per barrel benchmark by the federal government in the 2022 budget estimate submitted to the National Assembly. A one-day Minister of State for Education has advocated for an increased investment in education to close the gender digital divide in the country. The teenager, Miss Dorcas Joshua, who was made the Minister of State for Education to commemorate the International Girl Child Day in Abuja, assured of building more secondary schools in all the states of the Federation with maximum of 2-kilometer distance from homes. The one-day teenage minister also said that the theme for the celebration was apt as there was need to invest in knowing more about girls and digital realities for young women. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Sani Echana, said no economy could attain its full potentials without the contribution of women, youths, girls and boys alike.
Welcome back. Nigeria has 13.2 million out-of-school children. The girl child accounts for 60% of this figure. This is often attributed to poverty, early marriage, teenage pregnancy, and illiteracy. It is more worrisome that girls in northern Nigeria accounted for a higher percentage of this population. Our focus tonight is on Dateline. Is the state of the out-of-school children in Nigeria, even as the country joined the rest of the world a few days ago to mark the International Day for the Girl Child. Stay with us again.
Even though primary education is officially free and compulsory, about 10.5 million of the country's children aged 5 to 14 years are not in school. Only 61% of 6 to 11-year-olds regularly attend primary school, and only 35.6% of children aged 36 to 59 months receive early education.
What it shows is that the country, as it were, may be joking with its future. Because the future of any country rests on the children, because there are people to take over from the present crop of leaders.
The universal basic education policy, or which is even an act, criminalizes parents for not taking their children to school. How many parents have been arrested and taken to court, actively prosecuted for not enrolling their children in schools?
Before now, President Muhammadu Buhari had directed the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to coordinate and lead the deployment of a national plan to address the issue of out-of-school children in the country. The president said it was unacceptable to see children abandoning formal schools to engage in menial jobs and child labor in markets, streets and workshops. President Buhari said that the national plan, which was to be deployed by the federal government through the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, would ensure a holistic and comprehensive inclusiveness of appropriate basic education for vulnerable children.
While we continue to sustain our efforts on providing formal and conventional education through the activities of the Universal Basic Education Commission under the Federal Ministry of Education, it is still a common sight to notice children abandoning formal school to become apprentices in shops, workshops, and markets, whilst many others choose to loiter at markets, become cart pushers, and hawkers. These all are not acceptable.
In the north of the country, the picture is even bleaker with a net attendance rate of 53%. Getting out-of-school children back into education causes a massive challenge. Issues like geography and poverty are important factors in the pattern of educational marginalization. States in the northeast and northwest have female priming that attendance rate for 57.7% and 47.3% respectively, meaning more than half of the girls are not in school.
By integrating basic education with religious education and vocational training, the alternate school program will increase access to education without altering school social norms and cultures. Consequently, every child, including those in the most peculiar of circumstances, will have access to learning opportunities.
The education deprivation across the country is driven by various factors, including economic barriers and socio-cultural norms and practices that discourage attendance in formal education, especially for girls. Ensuring educational provision in predominantly rural areas and the impact of insurgency in the Northeast present significant challenges. UNICEF and other international agencies have evolved education programs to support the government in achieving Sustainable Development Goals number 4 by 2030 through improving planning and by addressing some of the systematic barriers that hinder implementation of an effective education strategy. These programs advocate for education to be reprioritized and targets children who are at least likely to receive an education. The expected outcome of programs is that all children access and complete quality education within a safe learning environment, gaining the skills and knowledge for lifelong learning. These intervention drives will be achieved by creating an enabling environment for education, improving the quality of education, increase in demand for education, and humanitarian assistance.
More than 10 million children in Nigeria are not able to access this right. The weight Nigeria carries in the world, if Nigeria cannot address the issue of out-of-school children, the world cannot address the issue of out-of-school children. That's the importance of Nigeria.
Other suggestions include that the education systems at federal and state levels strengthen their capacities to deliver quality basic education. More teachers must have core knowledge and competencies to use proven teaching methodologies to deliver appropriate quality education. Parents and communities need to have improved knowledge and commitments to contribute to enrolling children at the right age and safe and protective school environment. And finally, children in humanitarian situations must have timely and sustained access to quality education services. In no time, the out-of-school children time bomb will be deactivated for greater tomorrow for generations yet unborn.
Thanks for staying with us. Rising insecurity and violent communal conflicts are threats to the progress already made in Nigeria's democratic experience. Amid deepening distrust in government and institutions, many are of the views that Nigeria has significant work to do in improving local security and governance ahead of national and state elections in 2023. These are issues we border on in our next segment, Split Views. Stay with us. Welcome to the Split Views segment of our program, Abuja Dispatch. And on Split Views tonight, we have the pleasure of welcoming to our midst Engineer Yabagi Sonny, the National Chairman, Action Democratic Party. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Recently, INEC cautioned political parties and their supporters against unguarded utterances ahead of the Anambra state elections. Now, how important do you think this call is at a time like now?
Well, like you know, the country is going through a very trying period in terms of security, in terms of the economy of the country, and if you like, in terms of our union, the status of the union. People are, there's a kind of strain on the unity of the country. And even in normal times, when you have elections, in this country, what you have witnessed is that you will find a situation where the tension, is always high during election period, normal times. So you can imagine what will happen in this time that we are in today. So this is why I think the call, by INEC for people to be nationalistic and control, some of the utterances that some people make during election period, should be, it's commendable because, like I said, we are in a very strange, strained, period, with tension very high in the country. So it would have come at a better time than now.
Now, you agree with me that we've had some gains democratically, in the recent elections. But ahead of the 2023 elections, what are those? You just mentioned the issue of security now. What are those issues that are really germane for the country to really gain on the, electoral experiences in the past? What are those things that we should tackle now?
Well, I think aside from the issue of insecurity, you have, as far as the election itself is concerned, the obscene use of money before, during, and sometimes even after the elections. So I think the electoral empire, INEC, should perhaps go a step further by engaging the security agencies, especially those that are in the area of like EFCC, ICPC. I don't see no reason why they should not be involved in few days to the elections, during elections, for them to be able to control the use of money, because the use of money has made nonsense of the election itself, because people are reduced to ordinary commodities, and this shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. You shouldn't take advantage of the downturn in the economy and the poverty situation I'm talking about, and in some cases ignorance that is so prevalent still in this country as to what it means to an individual to be able to vote according to your conscience. We have seen what happened in previous elections where soldiers will be called in, police will also behave in a manner as if they are there for this government. They forget the fact that they are there for the nation, and the nation transcends the government of the day. But here you find that some of them will be stuffing the ballot boxes and things like that. So this is why we're actually saying that INEC, before the passing of the bill on the electoral, transmission of results, should involve EFCC, ICPC, and even the police. Because, you see, this issue of the use of money is not done in hiding. It's always done brazenly, in the open. People are giving money, and police will be seen then, the authorities will be seen then, they will do nothing. Nobody has been arrested, for using money in this country, and we all know. So insecurity, yes, is there, but the use of money, it's something that I think INEC should do something about.
Voting now, you took it out of
Yes.
the mouth.
Yes.
Now, electronic voting has been generating, opposing opinions, particularly at the National Assembly of recent. And many people are wondering, is it to be or not to be now in these next elections? Why do you think the lawmakers are divided over this new technology, about to be introduced by INEC?
Well, you see, you have to understand the mindset of these lawmakers you're talking about. Most of them got there through the corrupt system, which the e-transmission of results is coming to correct. And they also do not respect or even regard Nigerians as people that their views should be respected. They forgot that they are representing us. And like I told you, they got there through the corrupt system. They use their money, they use government machinery to falsify the results, So they now see this as a threat, that what you call free and fair and peaceful elections to them is a threat to their gangstering, and then the way they come to be where they are, So Nigerians should rise to the occasion by demanding that the National Assembly pass that law, the e-transmission of results, because it's the only guarantee we have, that somebody, like the saying goes, it's not those who cast the votes that determines the election, but those who count the votes. That shouldn't be the case. It should be a case that if you cast your votes, your vote must count. And for it to count, is for you to have, God has given us the technology today, it's being used everywhere, So, and then the excuse that some places you cannot transmit, using the networks we have. It's not true. Even before the coming of GSM and the GPRS and what you have today, there was what we call trial. This trial system where in the remotest part of the world you can use it to communicate, to even transmit data. They are remote terminal units. In a situation where INEC does not find the networks, working properly, you employ these other means of communication, which are abound. They are there, and they're not so costly that you say it's too much cost. So the National Assembly members should realize that Nigerians have come of age. Nigerians are connected with the international, today the world is a global village in the actual sense of it. They should not take us for granted. They shouldn't think Nigerians are still Nigerians of the Stone Age, that they don't know their rights. So I think, and perhaps because most of them don't visit their constituencies often, for even the constituency to engage them and tell them this is how we feel, they just lock themselves up in Abuja here. Some of them don't even answer calls from their constituency anymore. So they wait until when the day of election is coming, and then they'll go back with wads of money in their briefcases and what have you, and they start criminalizing the people, reducing the people to ordinary commodity, a mercantile kind of thing. So I think e-transmission is it. It has to be. It has to take place. It has to be passed. Like every Nigerian, concerned Nigerian citizen is calling for this e-transmission. Nobody, I have not had anybody who comes and say, no, don't do e-transmission.
Now, there is this issue I want us to look at, the low level of political participation of the people. There is this even voter apathy. You find out that many people don't even come, they don't even believe in the electoral system, as it were. Now, and at times, the blames are always put at the doorsteps of the political parties. But are you sure? I mean, some are saying that, well, probably the electoral umpire should do more, and the generality of the people should be encompassed into the system more. But what do you think should be the position of the political parties as to getting the people really aware of some of these rights we are talking about?
Well, I believe that the issue of civil responsibility and electoral education on what their rights is, and then the importance of coming out to perform your civil responsibility is, believe me, appreciably, Nigerians know about this. It's not they don't know, they know. But two things are happening. Votes do not count. So you wonder, why should I go waste my time? So this is why the in-transmission of results is key to what you are saying. It's not as if people don't know. Today you have social media. Information is abound everywhere today, direct and then to you. So the issue is the corruption that is so prevalent in the system and the behavior of the governments in power. That is what is also making people not to want to come out to vote, because even if you cast your vote, you have won, the person you voted for would not be declared, with impunity. They will say, okay, go to court. They are there. They are in the courts before you get there, because they have the money to hire the best lawyers to go and then compromise. In some cases, even they'll compromise the judges and things like that. Do things that will make it. So the issue is not it's not the matter of political parties or Nigerians to be educated. Nigerians know what we are talking about. Since when have we been running elections that you don't know what elections are all about? So they know, but it is the fault, of the government of the day, in most cases, the states and federal government, and also the fact that votes do not count. So for us to really mobilize people to come, citizens will come. They want to have good governance. Nobody wants to live in this kind of situation where we're killing each other. The economy is so bad. People are even committing suicide. Young Nigerians are leaving this country in droves. Our best brains are being taken away. Doctors, what have you, name them. They are all going in thousands. So whoever people want to go and die in the Mediterranean or in the deserts looking for greener pasture? No, they want to stay here. And this country, we're a promise of greatness. If you look at population, you look at the size of our economy, you look at the natural resources, the fact that we have young, dynamic, population that can be tapped, used to really transform this, promising economy, to become number one economy in the world, which we have the potential to be. So Nigerians believe in this country. It is the politicians. It is the people in government that do not believe in this country. They don't respect our laws. They steal as if nothing will happen, and nothing normally happens, actually. They will steal and run away, and nobody will chase them. You hear them going here and there, and have you heard of how many people have been taken to court and then, So the issue is not Nigerians. Nigerians know what they are doing. Every Nigerian is aware, very much aware than you think. It is the situation, the environment. The enabling environment is not there for them to really actualize, their dreams. So this is why, if you are saying voter apathy, yes, voter apathy, because it's a waste of time. I go and cast my vote and it doesn't count. Care is not taken. I will be maimed, or somebody will be killed. Who knows? Or your houses will be burnt. Why? Because some people that believe that they have gotten this country where they want, there's a state capture, and they don't want to, the hold they have on the country, which is criminally, really, the criminal hold they have on this country, they don't want to relinquish it. They will unleash all sort of, terror, on the people, and then criminalize the whole thing, a lot of tension and things like that. Now people don't come out.
Engineer Yabagi Sonny is the National Chairman, Action Democratic Party. He has been our guest tonight on Split Views. Thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Implementing the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement will help Nigeria and other African countries harmonize customs and transit procedures, reducing logistics and other trade costs, and dramatically increase the potential income gains resulting from the African Continental Free Trade Area. The WTO's Trade Facilitation Agreement facility has already worked with 44 African countries on their implementation efforts and stands ready to support Nigeria upon request. Nigerian businesses need to upgrade product quality to gain market share. With better quality will come better reputation and branding, and opportunities to capture more value from the products they make. In this regard, I must cite the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the food, textile, and fashion businesses. The quality of their products has improved considerably over time, thanks to the support of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Nigerian Exports Promotion Council. Women are now making export quality bags, briefcases, spices, and condiments for household use. We should work on scaling up these products for export. Africa loves Nigerian fashion, and the rest of the world loves our leather carpets, our bags, and other products. But we have yet to make the necessary moves to capture these markets. Again, the potential exists to do so much more.
That is our package tonight on Abuja Dispatch. For further information, comments, and suggestions, you can reach us out on any of our various social media platforms. Thank you for sharing your precious moments with us tonight on Abuja Dispatch. A week from now, we'll bring you another refreshing package. Same time, same station. Adegboyega Arogodo is my name. Have a good night.